that stage right.
Oh my god. Come on, I don't have all night.
Should probably say something like, okay, I know what I'm gonna do.
You're supposed to know what you want to do before this right now. Your part of this is making sure it's scripted so you can just sit down, turn on the camera, and boom, 5 minutes later it's over.
5 minutes. Okay. Are we ready? Take 2. 1. Hey.
Stage left.
Take 2. 1, 2, 3, go.
When I say playful learning, what do you think of?
What immediately comes to mind when you say playful learning is what happens in kindergarten when kids are brought together for the first time, generally in a large group. And a lot of people think that they're just off playing, but they're actually learning quite a few things while interacting in a large group and playing. And that's pretty much what comes to my mind when you say playful learning.
Do you ever think that playful learning could possibly be brought to other things or other grades?
Yeah, and what I think you are thinking about, or what comes to my mind, is more of an interactive learning environment where people are learning while they're actually doing, rather than sitting around looking at a book or a screen or flashcards and simply memorizing or reading about something. That they're actually doing something and learning about something while they're doing it.
Well, from reading this packet, what I learned is that perhaps the best way to go about learning is not textbooks and not flashcards, but maybe it's to have a playful setting where learning isn't like so rigid and isn't so demanding. And with that definition in mind, have you ever experienced that?
Yeah. One thing that comes to my mind specifically, where I can say that the learning was actually fun and enjoyable, and therefore not generally what we think of as play as adults, but I guess anything that is fun and enjoyable can be a form of play. And that would have been in physics class or physics lab, where we were testing formulas and theories, but doing it in real life situations where it was, and the teacher would set it up so it was almost a game and a contest between teams in the class to see who could finish first and get the most accurate answer. And we were actually performing the experiments using real life things, like using race cars or trying to shoot a ship from a cannon gun, and doing things that were more interactive and fun like that.
Did you think this learning was perhaps more effective than it would have been otherwise if you were just reading from a textbook or getting lectured?
Well, I think it's effective for 2 reasons. Number one, generally when people are having fun, they're not really thinking about the fact that they're learning, and so they're more engaged, and they are almost learning despite the fact, or in spite of the fact that they're having fun. So they don't realize that they're learning. So that can be a positive because it doesn't feel forced. And the other thing is that there are some people that learn better in this style, learn better in an interactive or a group setting or a tactile fashion rather than just rote memorization or reading from a book. So I think for a lot of things it can be very effective and much more enjoyable. There are some things that I think you can't avoid just a rote memorization or reading from the book, but in general sense, yeah, I think it's probably a more effective form of learning.
Do you think in your perfect world, if you could design a perfect learning environment, how would you fit in all the aspects, like people who learn better with like hands-on activities, people who learn better like from books and like flashcards? How would you accommodate them all?
Well, actually, I think my training in medical school was probably a very good balance in this. The first 2 years of medical school is basically classroom learning. In the second 2 years, you are actually at the bedside with an instructor, learning about patients, examining them, listening to them, and getting an idea of what something looks like, and then you would go home and actually read about it in a book, and having that idea or that picture in your mind, you knew what it looked like or sounded like, and then reading about it in a textbook. You had to get the details by learning about it in the textbook, but having that picture in your mind, having just examined that patient and seen that patient, you had a better concept of what the words were saying, and you could really grasp the concepts a lot better.
Thank you very much.